All right, guys, before we get started today on this very, very special episode for our 50th, make sure you ask us a question about Final Fantasy XI. We will, in fact, be reviewing that next week, and we want to hear from you what you guys want to hear from us. Go ahead and give us a call at our number or post something on the forums as always. Enjoy the episode.
From Provo, Utah, this is the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast with your hosts, Joseph DeGolier and Caleb Schweiss. This is Ultima Final Fantasy. Welcome to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. This is episode number 50.
Ooh, that's a lot.
I am Joe.
And I am Caleb.
And today we're just going to be talking about the podcast.
Yeah.
Just the podcast, the state of the podcast, if you will.
Yes.
If I had a good presidential march, I'd put it in the background, but couldn't find one that was over a minute long. Oh, man. No new iTunes reviews this week, I do believe, which is unfortunate. So if you guys could please give us an iTunes review, and we'll read it on the show next week.
Thing is we know how many of you there are, and we know how many reviews we have, and we know exactly where you live. No, I was kidding. We don't know that much, but no, it would be cool. We like reading them, and makes us feel good.
Don't cry, Yazoo.
Yes, the return of the drop.
I finally have them pulled up this time.
Nice.
Oh, man. So, where are we in Final Fantasy XI, Schweiss?
At the end, technically, of the Bastok missions, we are at the Dark Lord, and he's kind of intense. He really rocked us.
He's rough.
He goes immune to physical damage about halfway through the fight, and first time it was pretty much pure physical damage. And then he does this mana draining move, which is bullshit, considering we have to use magic at that point, and we just got destroyed. We were basically just beating off and, getting ripped to pieces.
Yep. He's rough, but the other people playing with us, they got right past him.
Thanks for waiting.
As soon as me and Schweiss got offline.
God forbid we watch Game of Thrones. Come on.
Oh, man. All right, Schweiss.
People.
I believe you prepared some news today, didn't you?
Yeah, we got some news.
News.
All right, and of course, by you prepared some news, you mean you looked through news that was submitted, because that's all I did.
Oh, okay.
Who
submitted them?
Well,
Shinru, probably.
Yeah, Shinru, and then we had some from Amerline as well.
Amerline one. Okay.
Yeah. So thank you guys. Thank you for doing our job for us. This first one is something I saw posted last week, I think, and we just never talked about it for whatever reason. And it's an FF14 fighter thing that they released, and it's awesome looking. I mean, Joe and I, it's like a fighting game, and
I saw a headline for it before, and I thought it was like a fan thing, so I was like, screw it.
Yeah, I think it's legit, but it's not in the game. Hopefully they add something like that, though.
It's some kind of demo.
Yeah, it's between Yida and Livia, and it's pretty cool. I would go check that out. I mean, I watched it on pushsquare.com/news/ not going to read the rest. So it was pretty awesome looking, and I think it'd be cool and a nice mix-up if they had some mini game in there that was actually decent, which would be a first.
No, I get it.
So another little nugget of news is you can apparently get Tidus's Brotherhood sword in Mobius Final Fantasy.
So they changed the name from Mevius to Mobius.
Yeah.
A while ago. I'm not sure if we reported on that, but
well, here it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, essentially, it's a weapon you can equip as a warrior, and obviously it's supposed to be pretty powerful. And it comes with an auto ability that's called Fight for Special Attack Meter Up, which is essentially increasing your special attack parameters more than before.
Huh.
And you can also get an elixir by registering on Square Enix's member website. And they're in-game items. And this one is like it recovers your in-game stamina, I guess. So,
so that'll be out in spring of 2015.
Yeah, that's
year.
fancy stuff there.
And this one pisses me off.
Yeah, this one's bold.
After all my shit about 15.
Yep, apparently they say 15 will not be appearing at E3.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, I mean, they could be lying. Who knows?
They could be.
But yeah, apparently Square Enix, said they're not going to have it ready. It's not time. They did kind of say they might have something in August. Gamescom gathering. They might show something there, but they just feel like it's too soon. And I'm sure a part of it's because of all the feedback they've gotten. They don't want to be...
Yeah, they're changing a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, they kind of threw a demo out there just to kind of test the waters, and they don't want to throw something that similar out, I would imagine, at the very least. Because they're going to be like, oh, we just said we didn't like this. Fucks, put it at E3, I bet you they'll still have something, though. I think they're lying to us.
You think they're lying to us?
Yeah, and
it's quite possible. I feel like Square has lied about things before.
Yeah, or misled, or like not actually said stuff, but then totally said it.
I can't think of a moment when they've done that, but I feel like there's been a time when they said we're not going to talk about this at this event, and then they totally did.
Yeah, I think it happened with 13 actually.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember either, but I know there was a big thing, and they were totally.
They can mislead, so there might. I still think there might be something at E3.
You know what I'm afraid of, though, is they do the 12 HD at E3.
Then we're playing 11 all the way.
Yeah, maybe.
12 comes.
So, and then speaking
do
of...
other news first if you've got something else.
Okay, yeah, I got... Well...
Okay, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next-gen graphics that will be using FF15.
Tech demo for DirectX 12.
Yeah, it looks really good. Like, really, really fucking good. So if you want to look at that, you can. They might be giving...
That's still part of the same news. Okay, so the big piece of news was they had their little live update thing, only it wasn't live. It was pre-recorded on the 10th, and then they came out with it like a couple days ago. And it was Hajime Tabata and some other dude. They were talking about the feedback from the demo of Final Fantasy 15, that survey that we filled out.
Yeah.
They were talking about... They were looking at all the numbers that came out. Like, they were really open about all the information that they got from it. All the numbers that came out of it, and they were addressing the top, I think, 15 problems that they saw in the game. So I actually watched the entire video of that thing.
I didn't even start
and it was interesting. Let's see, where was the better page on this stuff? Of course, you don't close anything. All right, so the average score out of the numbers, the average score for the game was 8.3 out of 10, with regionally North America being 8.6, Europe being 8.3, and then Japan being 8.0. So
okay,
everybody seemed to like the world design and the graphics, all that other stuff. The things that kind of got low points, Prompto's personality, which is the blonde dude. And the battle system got a 7.7, and the controls got a 7.4.
The controls I can see, but the battle system I thought was pretty fun. I mean, obviously it's rough as hell, but
yeah,
there's time.
And there were a whole bunch of things that they were going to fix. Talking about the lock-on, they were going to kind of tweak how the lock-on was going to be used in the game, because some people had problems with it. I personally didn't, and I don't think in their tutorial they said how you change the lock-on of whatever guy you're locking onto.
Yeah.
I think that was a big problem. They were talking about how that just wasn't talked about in the demo. The camera control was poor, and they talked about how the way they're probably going to fix that is by, allowing either moving the camera back or allowing the player to control the camera a little bit more, like having their own camera settings.
Yeah.
And
I like free roam camera. I'm all about the FF12 camera.
And then they're going to add code that'll make the AI get out of your way.
Yeah. There were some problems with that for sure.
And, of course, they were going to talk about fixing the frame rate and a whole bunch of other stuff. Anyway, if you watch that video, there's a whole bunch of little problems that they talked about that they're going to go through and try to address.
Yeah.
The one that I thought was interesting was that there was one of the questions on the survey was, did you finish the demo and why you did or you didn't, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason a lot of Japanese didn't finish the demo, like there was a huge chasm between the North American players and the Japanese players as far as who finished the demo. And the Japanese players, they thought the game was too difficult.
Really?
Yeah. So to me, that just kind of debunks the whole the Japanese are better at playing games.
I wonder if they just tried to not. Maybe they didn't go back to camp or something. Because if you don't go back to camp, the game's impossible. Because you don't level up at all. But if you go back to camp, you level up like 20 times. And you guys are god.
So in order to deal with that problem, they said that was a common problem. Like they were talking about the differences between the North American, Japanese, and the European gamers as far as who thought was the most, like who thought it was difficult and who didn't. And the North American players thought it was too easy, and the Japanese thought it was too difficult. Like,
maybe they just refused to get Ramu. I don't know.
I don't know what it was, but that demo's not a difficult demo.
No, not really. I mean,
the cave's a little difficult, but
yeah, the cave got crazy. In the beginning, when you're trying to learn the counters, the counter is really sloppy.
Yeah,
it's really stupid. You like press it. It's not when you should counter. It's like before they attack, and that's not a counter. That's a preemptive.
All right. Well, anyway,
whatever. But
yeah, they're going to be tweaking the controls, but they said they're probably going to have an easy mode.
Oh God!
To satisfy Japanese gamers.
That's funny. That's really funny to me because they always go on about how they gotta make it easier for us Americans.
Yeah, what the crap?
I don't know.
See, the stereotype is obviously wrong according to their survey.
That's fun.
So not much news this week except for that big, huge piece of news about 15's demo. There's other stuff they're going to change. I can't really think off the top of my head like what the big ones were, but
we got most of the big ones.
Yeah, most
just
of the big
clunky stuff that they kind of rushed.
Oh yeah,
demo.
people thought Cindy was too sexy.
Yeah, a lot of Europeans did. But the funny thing is they also want a female character in the game. So like, what do
they want a female character to play?
What do they think's going to happen when Square puts?
I mean,
a female
Cindy's
in
quite mild compared to the rest of the series.
Yeah, but she looks more realistic. It's not quite as like zonky and bullshit as like people in
Lady
10.
Unaleska.
Yeah, like that's just inhumanly, naked. So I think that's probably the reason. But I don't know. It didn't really bother me.
That.
It does seem kind of out of place, and it kind of seems fan servicey, but I don't really care. She was hot, so whatever.
Oh man. Gosh, the monitors are so weird right now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Schweiss, let's talk about our podcast.
Yeah, let's do it.
Wow, Schweiss, 50 episodes. In 2 weeks, we'll have gone a year.
Yeah.
A year of Ultima Final Fantasy. Wow. I feel like our show has grown so insanely much since we first started.
Yeah.
If you'd listen to that first episode with our shitty headphones mic, us being in the same room, it taking like the echo from your, your headset, and then going on to Final Fantasy 2 where we couldn't like find things to talk about. Like we were shy in front of the mic.
Not anymore.
Not so much anymore.
We've grown as men. We started boys and now we're men.
Sure. All right, so this is kind of a amalgamation of all of our podcasting stuff. So if you listen to our other shows, Getting Fat, Super Sexy, or God forbid, Pseudo Intellectuals Book Club, this is everything.
Yes.
We're going to talk about all of that at least a little bit briefly. The first thing, though, of course, you got to kill your darling sometimes.
Yeah. Well, this is our darling technically, but the other one. We're gonna be canceling the Pseudo Intellectuals Book Club, and we will.
Sorry.
We will continue Super Sexy Swinging Fan Fiction.
Dun dun dun.
Under two circumstances, which one we listed in the episode, and two I'm kind of willing to do. You guys need to submit fan fictions to us. Not necessarily yours, but at least a link to something you want us to read. And if not, we may or may not do an episode, but I might just choose one that we do.
Just out of spite of me.
Yeah, just to make Joe do it. But no, I feel like it needs that show kind of needs some more community support. Not
Yes.
like from the outside. We need more, not necessarily just people, saying, "Oh, I love the show," which we do appreciate, and we did receive some.
We received like
feedback and-
5 or 6 messages.
Yeah, where people wanted the show to stay alive.
Saying
So
keep Super Sexy Swinging fan fiction.
yeah, so I mean, we want more community involvement when it comes to that. I know it's a really awkward show, but
Yeah, and if you have any ideas on how to make Super Sexy more involving for the listeners besides you guys submitting your own fan fictions or submitting a good link, you let us know, because we're out of ideas as far as that,
I mean,
far as that show goes.
we could even have like a group reading thing. I know we talk about this in the fan fiction episode, but one of the guys that's playing 11 with us, Shori Lamente, or I think that's what his name is. He's got like a million different usernames, and I get them mixed up. But Artorius. He's writing he's thinking about writing a 11 fanfic, and if he does that, I really, really want to do this idea where all the characters, all the guys we're playing 11 with online, we all read it in our own voices, so we read our own dialogue as ourselves. That would be really fun. So like maybe a more interactive fan fiction kind of thing, something like that. I don't know if anyone's even willing to do that. Have their voice up, reading this dirt.
Maybe.
That's something. We just want to have more involvement with it. It feels stale.
Yeah.
That's why we almost killed it. So
Yeah, it's stale both in our numbers and as we read it. I mean, sometimes you get a really good fan fiction, like we read a really good one today. So
yeah,
you guys listening, you guys waiting for the Wednesday show on Super Sexy Swinging fan fiction.
It's good.
It's a good one. But sometimes we get one that's not so great, and it feels kind of
like we're wasting our time almost.
Feels like we're wasting our time a little bit, and the listeners' time.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, fan fiction is it's this insane idea, first of all, but it's also so random as far as the quality and what is going on in whatever fan fiction that it's hard to keep a consistent show with that.
It is,
with that in mind. But I think with listener interaction, if you guys haven't heard an episode of Super Sexy Swinging fan fiction for a while, you should probably submit a link.
Yeah.
Get it going again. I know there's not that many of you who listen to Super Sexy, so just keep in mind, just every couple weeks, just look for a fan fiction that you want us to read.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be erotic or anything. It can be,
and it doesn't necessarily have to be Final Fantasy,
and it doesn't even have to be bad. We've read good ones that were like fairly solid, and I was like, oh, that wasn't bad.
So we are keeping Super Sexy, but we are going to stop Pseudo Intellectuals Book Club.
Yeah.
Not that we've been going on with it. I mean, it's been up there for like 2 months.
Yeah, the reason behind that is it's just, one, we stopped reading the book because it sucks, and two, it's such a.
I didn't think it sucked, but I still stopped reading. So.
Yeah, we all stopped, but and two, Caleb didn't want to read it because he's like, dude, you didn't tell us that you were going to.
Okay, let me explain the drama behind the Pseudo Intellectuals Book Club release. I'm not sure if I've talked about this on the podcast before or if I have.
I don't think so.
Anyway, what happened was there was a period when we were so geared up to do a podcast about everything on the planet.
Yeah.
Which is good because I think some good stuff came out of it. I think Super Sexy for a while was really good.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're going to try to breathe more life into it by bringing you guys along. But Pseudo Intellectuals Book Club, it started out of a book club that we all had as friends, and we had kind of a big group.
Yeah, it was fairly big for a while, yeah.
Yeah, and we read every month or two, we'd lose a person out of the book club. Just less and less people wanting to finish the book in the 1 month period of time that we set to finish the book. And so later it came down to just me, you, and then other Caleb.
Yeah. Which is boring.
And we decided, hey, let's do a pilot episode for Pseudo Intellectuals Book Club. Not only will it give us incentive to read the book within a month so that we could, finish it.
Yeah.
So because there's people waiting for it. Not only would it do that, it also I think it would be cool to have a discussion.
Yeah.
Have it recorded. Because sometimes we'd get together to do the discussion or whatever. or like doing that was always a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And so that was another thing that the podcast would help us with. Now, we recorded that pilot episode, and this is all my fault here. You can all blame this on me. I kept the audio file, and the thing that I was stopping myself from doing was making the logo and then submitting it into iTunes. Like, I was being really lazy about it. And time passed, and we were all on Tagana, but we never read Tagana. It could have been because I never put up the episode. We didn't have the fire in us anymore to continue with Tagana. It could have just been the book. It could have just been us getting busy or whatever. But I don't really think that's the reason. I think it had to do with how ready we were to start a podcast, you know.
Yeah.
And I kind of ruined that by not submitting it into iTunes quick enough. And so, like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months later, I saw that the episode was on there. And then we also did a pilot for Getting Fat before. I was like, you know what? I told them that I was going to submit it. And so, like, one night, you guys know about this. You guys at least know when it showed up. One night, I was like, I'm just going to do the work right now. I'm going to submit it into iTunes. And then suddenly we had 2 new shows. Now, the thing that I failed to do, and I should have done, was talk about this to Caleb and Caleb. My decision to put up those episodes.
Right.
Same with the gaming podcast episode. I put that up on our Ultimate Final Fantasy feed.
Yeah.
Knowing that wasn't going to become a show.
No, it's too much work right now.
Right. So, because I did that, I didn't realize how much I pissed Caleb and Caleb off by doing that. Because to me, and I get it now, but I still don't get it at the same time. Because to me, it was all about, hey, this is a good incentive for us to keep going. Let's do the book club again. We were all having a good time with it. But then I guess I betrayed some people by putting that stuff up without telling them.
No, I was kind of pissed off, but not as much as Caleb, though. Mostly with me, I was like, dude, my biggest problem with it is if we ever do something like that again, I want to make sure we have some sort of back catalog of books so we can see some semblance of growth with the show. The problem with one book being talked about on a podcast on iTunes is the likelihood of that being pulled up is very slim. So that part kind of upset me. And then also, I don't know, just like I hadn't listened to the episode forever. I wasn't really comfortable with it necessarily, but Caleb was pissed, man. And it was his book. Tagana was his book. And he told me flat out, he's like, I'm not going to read it. I was like, why? He's like, I don't want to do the episode. I'm like, well, dude, it's your book. And yeah, he didn't talk to us when he released it, but we did say we were going to read these books, and now you're telling me you're not going to do it.
And I did say I was going to release it. I never told him I wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I was like, yeah, this is late, and it's my fault that it's late.
Yeah, but I didn't want to read the book either, so I was like, yeah.
So anyway, we've been sapped of all want to do a book club podcast, and all members of the book club.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Except for me and Caleb, which would just be another me and Caleb show. And if we wanted to talk about books, we can talk about it on our off-topic show, which is Getting Fat.
Yeah, that's another reason why I say we kill it is because we could do that anyway. We could just record us talking about a book we read and then release it as Getting Fat.
Yeah.
Tag it with the book.
Also, if you guys aren't listening to Getting Fat, come on.
Yeah, it's entertaining. it's our fun show. That
it's the show that's just me and Caleb going off topic about whatever.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's like a behind the scenes of Ultima.
That was almost on the chopping block too. I was trying to convince Caleb to make Ultima Final Fantasy a 2-hour show, and then having like the last half hour be off topic. He wouldn't go for it. No, I got to keep this trim. But please listen to Getting Fat if you're not listening to it, and. Sorry if you wanted the book club thing. I know Gamma Stark really wanted the book club. Yeah, and I mean, I want it too because I like reading, but... I want it, but I don't... We have to have more people. We really do. With just you and I mean... It's just another me and you show. Yeah, there's already 3 of those. Yeah. It's... Yeah. Damn it. I would do like a Game of Thrones one. I was like, oh man, I wish I would have thought of that. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh wow, there's a million of them. 50. Yeah. Yeah. Like, well, that's never going to happen. But you and Gamma start talking about a Wheel of Time one? Yeah, I'm getting the messages for it because I'm on the message line. Yeah, we're talking about it. I don't know.
I don't know how that's going to go. It all depends on my desire to read the series, really.
I could only get through halfway through the 5th book.
So. I'm about a little over a third of the way through the first one, and I like it. It's just I like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones more. So we'll see.
So those who wanted a Pseudo Intellectuals book club, I'm sorry. Listen to Getting Fat. I'm sure when we finish a book, we'll talk about it.
Probably, yeah.
Right now, I'm reading Rebel Without a Crew by Robert Rodriguez.
So exciting.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to do some changes in format for our show now. The iTunes reviews are going to come at the end of the show.
Okay.
We just agreed on this right before we started recording. The reason for this is, in case someone new comes along, their eyes don't glaze over with the iTunes reviews. Sometimes we got a lot of them.
Yeah.
But we still want to say thank you to those people who do iTunes reviews. And if you want us to read your review, we're still going to read them. They're just going to be on the tail end of the show.
Yeah, just at the last. So.
Yep. And as far as segments are concerned, I did we did a voting thing, and we're pretty sure on this one. We're going to drop the Did You Know segment.
Okay.
So I kind of want to... the reason why we're dropping the Did You Know segment, I think, besides it being the least popular... the least popular segment is that people... I think people may not be sure what Did You Know was all about. You know?
I do know, yes.
Okay, so...
We know.
Sometimes we'd get a Did You Know that was that would be better in a tactic you might need kind of a thing. Like it was about game strategy. That's not what Did You Know is. Did You Know is about just cool things about the series that maybe we didn't know. Like the 10 and 7 connection would be a cool Did You Know. Or
right.
The mythic origins of summons would be a cool Did You Know. Or did you know that Hironobu Sakaguchi is gay? That'd be a good Did you know that he's not gay? But, just random interesting things about the series that didn't have to do with strategy.
Right, yeah, and that's... and because of that, if you guys have anything you want to discuss that's like that, just throw it in that game. Just throw up a thread, a file in that particular game, and we'll discuss it there. But,
right.
And if we like it enough, maybe we'll make it an actual episode discussion, depending on how in-depth it is.
Exactly. So instead of it being a Did You Know, just I'd be ideas for discussions.
Yeah.
So, sorry for those who really enjoyed Did You Know. Let's listen to the theme song one last time. One last time. Did you know? Did you know? Did you know, my friend? All this cool shit. Mythic origins of Final Fantasy. And other stuff you might not have known. But maybe you know, but that's okay. We're still gonna do a segment called Did You Know? We're no longer going to do a segment called Did You Know?
Yep. That's okay, though.
It's a sad day. It was a good segment. I just feel like it was misunderstood.
That's okay.
It's too misunderstood.
But we are adding a segment to fill in the gap.
We are adding a segment, yes. Yes, we are.
And this will be questions from us to you. It's where we ask you guys a question as opposed to the other way around, which is the norm. So, I mean, whatever we want to know about you guys as far as your feelings towards certain things in the games, the show, the media, Final Fantasy, whatever it may be, we will ask.
We will. We most certainly will. We actually started it last week, but it's official that's going to be a new segment.
Yep. So, answer up and we'll read the answers, I guess. That'll be fun.
All right. So we are going to do a overview of our Patreon stuff. As you guys definitely know by now, Patreon has been supporting the show for a few months now.
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
And we've grown considerably from one donator to now, I think 10 or 9.
Yeah, we got 10.
We got 10 donators. So I just want to give a big thank you to the following people, including those who don't donate anymore. So if you ever did donate through Patreon, thank you. Thank you for your donation. I understand if you can't always continue with a $40 donation every month.
Yeah, or
really,
whatever.
If you want to shrink your donation size down, we totally understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal.
But we want to thank you guys so much. So a big thank you to Luis Rubiero, David Gunther, Sam Croft, Jacob Jackson, Josh Manor, Andrew Parham, Mecha Messiah,
Devin White,
I think, or Devin Wild, sorry, the monitor's far away, Corey, Douglas Hopkins, and Jimmy Allback. Some of you guys didn't even ask for rewards.
Yeah, you kind of vetoed it, so thank you.
So seriously, like a big, huge thank you guys. The show is not free, and we're actually still paying for it. The Patreon money is going to new equipment.
Yeah.
Which so far we've gotten a headphone
pile of shit.
A pile of shit. We're gonna have to get a new one of these things, but a headphone amplifier, which will help us hear ourselves while we record the episode, so that we can, keep the audio levels nice and good.
Yeah.
And then we have a Behringer audio output for the computer, so that our episodes can be live now instead of doing segmented episodes, which take longer to edit.
Yeah, and we kind of slack, so we're lazy.
So I want to thank you guys so much for donating so far. And here's just a real quick overview of our Patreon goals, 2 of which we've reached.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
Line for listener calls, which of course we'll talk about in the question segment here coming up.
Yes.
And Melodies of Life, as covered by Dave Mustaine, is coming soon.
Nice. He's gonna. Have we got a hold of him yet about that? Has he started writing?
Yeah,
anything,
he started plinking around. He said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's good. Can't be waiting forever now. Man needs deadlines.
Can't wait forever, no. But
he's a slacker at heart.
He's got to wait to be inspired a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Our next Patreon goal. This one's an iffy one, actually.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Right now, well, the only reason it's iffy, at least I thought initially, is because I'm like, dude, if we get there before we're on 14. But anyway, you've got a 14 account. This one would be a live stream on Twitch, where essentially we just live stream the show. We've got everything hooked up, and it's streaming through our Twitch channel, so you guys can view it if you're willing to get up early, quote unquote, on Saturday morning, which really is subject to whenever we stopped watching a TV show the night before, and catch the show live. Now, the only reason why I feel this one is iffy is because I don't want to kind of step on anybody that we're giving the episodes early to, because this would make it available.
So we're thinking about the $150 mark, and we'll figure
if this makes you want to grab your torch and pitchfork, let us know, because we could always change it to something else.
Yeah. The new website is at $200.
Yeah, that's going to be a group effort with a lot of work.
I already started doing an outline for the whole website. It's just huge, dude.
Yeah, I know. I have thought about how we would have to do it, and I'm just like, oh, God, there's so many games.
You gotta design a big website for Ultima Final Fantasy.
And if we did that, we would totally have the forums on the same site. So it would be one site to rule them all.
Unfortunately, with the $200 mark at the new website, we would be getting rid of the old forums.
Yeah, and we would lose
replacing it with new, more functioning forums within the website.
Yeah, so I mean, if that does happen, that would suck, but I'm sure you guys would understand.
And it'd be better.
I really have no idea how we would backlog that stuff.
Okay. The next goal is $250. Steki Dane, which is the Final Fantasy X theme song.
Yeah, we got to get...
as covered by Dave Mustaine, of course.
Yeah, so Dave's got a lot of work coming up, hopefully. That'll be fun for him. And then the next one is something most are unclear about. The FFU v. UFF radio drama idea that we've Joe came up with the radio drama, but we've kind of joked back and forth about this with some, that other show that we,
are not supposed to mention.
But this is kind of a nod. Anyway, we're gonna have a drama where we write a script out, we get this plot line, and we read it as a special episode released on Patreon between the two shows. And I've got some pretty awesome ideas.
I don't want to give anything away though, but really, if we get to the $300 mark. The most epic podcast radio drama ever.
Yeah, it's gonna be
will be coming your way.
it's gonna be like those radio shows from like the 20s,
Like Orson Welles.
Yeah,
kind of
just
shit.
like we got sound effects, and of course they won't be us actually making the sounds. We're gonna steal them from the internet, but it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
It'll be sweet. It'll be so awesome.
Oh man!
With the $350 goal of Dave Mustaine covering Real Emotion from Final Fantasy X-2.
Oh god!
As I like to call it, "What Can I Do for You?" The "What Can I Do for You" song, as covered by Dave Mustaine at the $350 mark.
That one's gonna be amazing.
Yep. And then the goals up from there are kind of we're iffy about.
Yeah, well, obviously the last one's the joke one that I threw down.
Yeah, please do not donate $42 million because that would just be atrocious.
I mean,
we would have to not go through with it.
Yeah, and then I would feel really bad and probably end up killing myself, which would probably have happened if I would have gone through with it anyway. Just, I don't know, it'd be less painful.
Yeah, so thank you very much to the guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to the guys who have donated to our Patreon account.
And girls, maybe. Wait, no, they're all guys.
They're all guys right now. Yeah, I just, really, I didn't think it would be this soon that we would be able to make a profit.
No, yeah, quote unquote.
A profit, quote unquote, because we're still putting the money into the show.
Yeah, we want to make this as awesome sounding as possible and then just coast. But that'll be a while.
It's like the advertising amount, and we're not quite to this, so Limit Break Radio, take a listen to our numbers right now. In order to get advertising for a podcast, you got to be at like 20,000 downloads a month or something like that. We don't have that much.
No.
And so, like, I'd never thought that there could be a way to support the show outside of advertising.
But we were way wrong.
But then Patreon just showed up as this beautiful thing that someone posted on our forum to check out.
Yeah.
And so, it's helped out well, and you guys have helped us get new equipment.
Yeah.
And it's been really nice. And I think, like, one more payment and we'll get a mixer.
Yeah, we're pretty much covered for that. So, I mean, it's going to start sounding really good. Because once we get that mixer, I'll have the same mic as Joe, because the one we have right now only has one Phantom Power slot in it. And, so mine is the shitty karaoke mic that I've had for almost a year now.
Yep.
But, it's going to sound a lot better, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
We'll play around with that.
Okay, so we got our Twitch usage.
Yeah, so one of these days I'm going to look up how to customize the Twitch page. I know this is kind of a little bit off topic because mostly what I want to do is stream most things that I play. So, I mean, Joe doesn't really play very many games outside of the Final Fantasies, and neither do I right now, to be honest. With 11, there's really not physically any time that I could put into another game. But I'm going to try to stream most of my stuff from now on.
All right.
And try to become funny enough or entertaining enough to continue.
I must become funny.
Yeah. So, look forward to that. I'm still playing around with ideas on how to stream 12. I've got a couple. I don't know. I'll figure something out, and we'll stream the Final Fantasies from here on out.
Yep.
Except for like the PSP, obviously.
Maybe not after years.
Maybe though. There might be a way.
There might be. There probably is some weird way of doing that.
Dude, that would be awesome. Yeah, I'll look into it.
You could probably do virtual. Can you do virtual console and have the PSP go up to the PS3, or is it only the other way around?
It might. I can't remember. I never did. I never cared because my PSP was dead by the time
if you can get it on the PS3, you could have something capture your TV.
Yeah, I can totally have that. Oh, I got to try that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe we'll do all of them. Who knows?
I have no idea.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. I mean, and whenever we play COD or anything like that, I'll just start streaming it on our Final Fantasy feed. Yeah. Because
search Ultima Final Fantasy, no spaces.
Yeah, that's
on Twitch.
It's our Twitch page.
So yeah, I used to hate Twitch. Now I'm kind of like getting it.
Yeah,
I'm getting it now. Yeah.
It does bring a sense of community to it. Although it's still weird to me.
I do like the live comments, which are about my favorite thing when you're streaming and there's live comments and we can talk about it.
Please, God, check us out when we're streaming and talk to us so that it's not so boring.
Yeah, 6:00 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah, and then I was doing level ups, but the problem was I would play music, and then they got mad. So it'll probably just be when both of us are on from now on. Mm-hmm. And even then, if we're just leveling up, I'm totally not going to stream that. It's so boring. There's so much empty space and like.
But Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it shouldn't be level up time.
No, it shouldn't.
Unless we're both off.
I mean, and if it is, it doesn't matter because there's stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want it to be dead.
Yeah.
I hate dead.
Now let's talk about Final Fantasy XI.
Ooh.
That question we all asked you. Now, actually, the biggest thing, they all wanted us to go right straight through all the expansions.
Some of them, yeah.
On the voting, the majority.
Yeah, I feel like most
way.
of those guys were the ones that were playing with us, though. So they're a little biased. And I chose that option, but I don't know why. So as of right now, what we're planning on doing with FF11 is playing it for the 2 months, like we said. We dedicated 2 months to 10. Probably going to do the same for 12 at least. And 11 should get the same treatment. And last night we did get to the end boss, and so what we're planning on doing is after we beat the Bastok missions, the very first initial release of 11 in Japan, we're going to do a review episode. We're going to go over the story, quote unquote.
So after 11. We beat this boss.
Yeah, after we beat this boss, we'll have an episode next week talking about 11.
Mm-hmm.
Up to that point.
Our official review of 11.
Yes. Our official review
But then
11.
we're going to play it for another month.
Yes. And do as much of the 6.1 on missions for Bastok, and who knows?
Hopefully be ready for when we decide whether or not we're going to do expansions.
Yeah.
Later.
Yeah, if we do the expansions, and this is an if, we will do them after we beat the main series. The reason why is because we don't want to spend eternity on FF11, because we're going to blow through so many optional episode ideas, like the 7 stories, the stuff like that, and I don't want to ever have a week where the episode just sucks. So that's part of it. And then also, doing 11 forever just makes me want to go hang myself in the bathroom.
You know what I feel, though? I already feel this way, and we'll talk about this more next week, obviously.
Yeah.
Assuming we can actually beat that motherfucker.
He's sick, okay? Not as sick as X-Death, or even the guy from 4, but he's a bastard with
disgusting.
his null attack damage.
Assuming we can kill him.
Yes.
We talk about this next week. I feel like those who said skip 11 and 14, you're so wrong.
Yeah, it's enjoyable. I mean, I if you watch the streams, I bitch about it a lot because there's a lot of stuff to complain about. There really is, but it's still pretty fun.
It's better than some of the earlier games in the series, I think.
Yeah, probably.
It's
not gonna be that high.
It's really not gonna be that high, and we're gonna judge it on its own. So we're gonna judge it as its original release.
Yeah, in Japan, because in North America, obviously,
as far as its story is concerned, we're gonna judge
it
on that. I mean, some of the gameplay stuff has changed, and so there's not really anything we can do about that.
We're gonna have to judge it as is. Yeah. And then, as we know, a video game is based on both story and enjoyment. So. Yeah. The fact that the story is, lukewarm and boring may not be that much of a detractor.
But we are going to do something different, though. We're actually going to, because the story for Final Fantasy XI is so short, we're going to do a whole little radio drama. Another radio drama. We're going to recount 11's story.
Yeah.
Line by line.
Yeah, and it sounds horrifying, but it won't be that bad. There's not that much dialogue. There really isn't.
And we'll tell you what's good. So those who refuse to play 11, you'll know the story.
Yeah, and at the very least you could talk about it.
For the Bastok mission side of things.
Yeah.
The weird thing with 11 is that there are 3 main stories.
Yeah, 3 nations.
Called the 3 nation mission quests, or nation mission, whatever.
Yeah, there's Bastok, Sandoria, and
Windhurst.
Windhurst, yeah.
And we started in Bastok, but they all have the same final boss.
Yeah. So
I think they all have kind of the same story.
I would imagine they're pretty similar.
But since we started in Bastok, we're going to do the Bastok side, of course.
Yeah.
And recount what happened.
Thank God I didn't do it. Remember earlier when in the early stages of deciding to play 11 when I was like, maybe I'll do another nation. That would have been horrible, dude.
Yeah, it would have been.
I would have been like, I'm done. I quit. You can have your damn show.
Yeah, and my challenge to Void, a green mushroom, if you're listening to this, you should give it another go. I mean, it's been less than a month of us playing 11, and we're at the final boss.
Yeah, and we're totally used to the gameplay. I don't have as many macros set up as Joe, so I still select my targets, and I use my inventory, the convoluted, press the button to go down way, but you get it memorized, so I press it, and I just mind-numbingly select the right amount of up keys to open up whatever I want. So it's macro or no, it gets easier. It really does. It's a lot easier. And please, if you're going to play it, please, God, set up some macros.
If you ever decided to play all the Final Fantasies and you skipped 11,
you should have. You should have played it. I don't think they had any business numbering at 11, but they did. So we had to play it. Yeah.
It has some really good aspects about it.
It does. There's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the multiplayer aspect is enjoyable, and that's why I feel like there's a good chance that we will want to come back to it later, because we'll be like, good God, I've been alone playing these Japanese RPGs for so many months.
At least Crystal Chronicles is multiplayer.
That's true.
We'll play that together.
Oh, wait, I already bought it too. Damn it. But that'll be fun. We both have a copy now.
Well, yeah. But...
I didn't have to.
Oh.
That's interesting, though.
Yeah, that's like 6 games we can play together.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Nice little pop up there. Thank you, Windows, quote unquote.
Oh man, so yeah, that's what we're gonna do with 11, and we got one more month. Come play with us.
Yeah, there's plenty of time. Honestly, Darth Jamu, he's one of the forum guys. He supports us on Patreon. The guy is a monster at this game. He started like 2 weeks after us, like no joke, or maybe a week and a half. And the guy is ahead of us already.
And level wise.
Yeah, level wise, he doesn't sleep. He's just so dedicated to playing alongside us that he gave up his life. But no, he did. Apparently, he found some party early on in the game, and they led him through a ton of the missions, and he leveled up 20 something times the first day. First day he played.
Wow.
Yeah, so there are people out there that will help you play this game. And I streamed me playing 11, and I was retarded as I was playing this thing. I'm like, what in the hell is this?
The minus key for the menu? Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, I know. It's out there, but now it's just second nature. It's freakish, but they're
dude, macros are the way to go.
It's true, yeah. Even one where they use, I don't really use that many of them, but one that's the most useful thing in the world is they target whoever I target. And since I'm playing the warrior tank guy, and when there's a giant orgy of enemies, when you don't do maintenance and just let them bundle up, it's impossible to tab through and select the guy or click on it because there's 700 things going on, and they all just attack who I attack. And it's beautiful. We pick them off one by one and don't die. Usually.
Usually, I'm the one who dies the most. It seems.
Sometimes there's too many guys, and they don't give up, so kill them.
It's definitely one of the more difficult Final Fantasies.
Yeah, the learning curve is massive.
I would say my learning curve, because I didn't play with anybody else for the first 8 hours of play, my learning curve was just huge. It was a huge hump to get over. So I understand someone like Void not being able to get into 11 enough to beat the story.
Yeah, it's difficult to
because of that learning curve, but if you can push past that, it's playable.
And honestly,
obviously, otherwise it wouldn't still be going since 2003 or 2002 whenever.
Yeah, and honestly, if you're that big of a Final Fantasy fan,
Batman.
Yeah, I didn't want to miss the game. Honestly, that was the biggest thing that made me want to play this damn thing, because initially I was like, I don't want to play the online ones. I was really stuck on that, and then Joe's like, well, it is numbered, and I'm like, yeah, but they never should have numbered it because they're assholes, and I still think they never should have numbered it, and they're assholes for that.
Yeah, I think they should have called it Final Fantasy Online, but we'll talk about why they numbered it.
Yeah, but it's something that I didn't want to miss, and that's why I'm glad we're playing it, because it might make me want to rip what hair I have left after playing it out
of your head.
Of my head, yes.
Okay, all right.
Every
hair ever
just gone. No, but even though it might make me feel like that sometimes, it is still a Final Fantasy game, and it's because it's an online one. If it goes down, it's gone. It's over. There's no more Final Fantasy 11.
Yes.
You'll never get to play it again, and that's I don't want that
unless they remake it single player.
Oh,
which it's almost that way with the trusts. If they made the trusts stronger and you can have up to 5 trusts,
why in God's
have
name
a full 6 party?
Would you want to play that game alone though? You bring up a good point. They could make it single player, but why?
It's fun with other people.
It is,
True.
but
It might be part of the reason why we're enjoying it. It probably wouldn't be as good if it
was
other
single
people
player,
weren't
oh
there.
no
Yeah.
way, no way.
And there'd be things I was like confused and stuck on.
Yeah.
Luckily, other people who played the game longer,
there are
they know.
ways to go through things very quickly, and we
So thank you, Art, Krinital, Darth Jomu,
Baindrum.
and Baindrum.
Yeah.
And we had someone on named Jenna. Thank you
Yeah.
to those people who played with us.
She sounded like the Roadrunner from. Her mic is really horrible.
Her mic
so
was
it's pretty
screwed up.
funny.
And so it's like every time she talked, it was like, meh.
So it was a lot of fun though, and yeah, you guys should check out our streams on that. If I know when I was leveling up, a lot of people would get on and be like, "Hey, same desert area, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I was leveling up my main guy before. Now I'm leveling up my secondary guy in the same area because they're the same level guys.
Mhm.
It gets a little more interesting eventually.
The
Like
final area was pretty cool.
the final area
I thought
was
yesterday's
really
stream
cool.
was really good.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, and the music was good.
So that'll be on YouTube later today.
Yeah.
I forgot to put it on after you.
That's
Yeah.
fine. I should probably do it since I'm the one streaming it, but
Do you need me to show you how?
yeah, we can go
Okay.
through that.
All right, we'll figure that out then.
Yeah.
But
Join us.
so just in all, this is the end of our state of the podcast.
Yeah. The state of the podcast is strong. It is strong though, and we appreciate you guys listening to us every week and supporting us on Patreon. And if anything, I know some of you have recommended us to other people, and we can see that, and we really appreciate it.
Yep.
At least we we'll lie to ourselves and say that that's why. But regardless of what it is, I mean, any way you can help us out, it's fantastic, and we really enjoy the feedback and the community, the forums becoming larger, and it's not like massive to the point where we won't post on stuff. The biggest thing that bugs me though is I can't post on the questions until they're answered on the show. I force myself to not answer them, even though I'm like,
That's what I've been doing since the beginning. Sometimes I won't even read if it's a question thread. I'm like,
yeah,
I'll let other people from the forum put their posts because I have to answer that on a show.
yeah, yeah.
There's no point answering the question in both the forum and the show, even though I have admittedly I have gone on there.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a lot of fun, and join us however you can if you desire. If not, then you can just keep listening to us.
Mm-hmm. So, a giant thank you for those who have gone through this entire year with us. We're not going to have a year celebration because that's too many celebrations.
Yeah.
But in 2 weeks, I think it's about 2 weeks from now because it was the middle of May when we started this podcast.
Yeah, it was like May 11th or something.
Last year, yeah. Big thanks. I wonder, have any of you guys been on since the beginning? Like, did any of you guys click on episode 1 and just stick with us?
Yeah, before episode 2 came out. Because if so, thank you, and you made the right choice. I hope.
Give us a freaking message.
Yeah, let us know. I mean, I know where the big guys come from. Like the main, not necessarily the main forum users, but the guys playing 11 with us. I kind of know exactly when they came in, and it seems to be fairly common around like the 6, 7, 8 episodes. But
Okay.
if you guys have been with us the whole time, let us know. And
I want to know who actually made it through that first episode.
yeah, the drop-off rate is
We
probably
had like
so bad.
20 downloads the first 2 days.
Well, yeah, but
I'm wondering like what 2 people actually stayed with us or 1 person.
yeah, let us know if it was you.
Yeah, seriously.
We will.
Through our 3 different logos we've had for the show until we finally
Yeah.
found one we were happy with.
2 intros.
2 different intros.
It's too bad Cafe Press isn't happy with it, huh?
No, Cafe Press is not.
Plagiarism my ass.
Oh man. Wow. It's just been an awesome year. So thank you guys. Next week is our Final Fantasy XI review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems so soon.
It does because it is.
Yeah, because it is. All right, well, you ready to answer some questions?
Let's answer the rest of the non-Final Fantasy XI questions.
All righty.
Questions for us. We would like to hear from you. You. To our forums. Don't contact us on Twitter. Get on and ask your questions. We'll answer them within a week. This is the question segment. Ask and you will receive.
All right, guys. So Before we do the question segment, I want to remind everyone that you can call in directly, as per our Patreon goal that was reached, at the following number.
385-204-3921. That's 385-204-3921. Give us a call. Ask a question. As long as it's under a minute long, you'll be fine.
Yeah, don't be nervous.
Yeah, so this is a question we're not going to answer till next week. But for you guys to know what it'll sound like, we got one question here.
Oh, yes.
We had another one for someone gave us a call and it looked like they just hung up as soon as they got cold feet and they hung up.
Yeah.
Which is too bad. But we got one here.
Hey guys, what's up? Baindrum here. Question for you.
See that? It's
Final
just
Fantasy
fine.
XI, bit of a learning curve. It's much harder to get a handle on the game than other previous Final Fantasies. What do you guys think? I find myself relying on guides to do basically everything.
All right, so we'll answer that question next week. But I wanted you guys to hear what it'll sound like
When you call in.
When you call in and ask a question. Now, right now we only have it for voicemail, but let's say we do live streaming on Twitch.
You said, dude.
Do.
Kidding. Yeah, anyway, yeah, like you
Let's
were
say
saying.
if we start live streaming on Twitch, our episodes, fuck you. We might have it so that you actually call in live to the show.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a fun dynamic that we could add. I mean,
While the show's going. So
yeah, grow some balls and call us in. Unless, of course, you're a girl,
it's
then
just
please
a message.
don't.
The message is thank you for calling Ultima Final Fantasy. If you want to leave an intro or a question, say it after the beep or something like that, and then it beeps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, an intro would be really cool,
No big
honestly.
deal, man.
I kind of want to call one myself. Just have like 40 seconds of pause. The ultimate. Do like a crappy impersonation, something, I don't know. But yeah, give us a call. I mean, it adds a fun dynamic to the question segment that we are paying to have, so please use it. Same with the TeamSpeak. I want you guys to feel comfortable getting on TeamSpeak.
Yeah, don't worry about it, man.
If you want to talk to us, like, it's fine. Both of us are usually on there whenever we play 11, so.
Yeah,
If you're having-
definitely.
if you're having
always on
issues,
there
yeah.
whenever we play 11.
Yeah. That's the only way to do it. So, all right, let's get to some questions here.
Okay. Our first question here is from Charlemente. Is there a way to pronounce that a little better?
Shori Lamente.
Shori Lamente?
Yeah, that's what I always say.
Is it Shori?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Art?
Yes.
Okay. Every avatar name on the planet, I'm pretty sure, just belongs to one guy now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all art.
Considering the amazing job Square did with the FF4 Complete Collection on the PSP, would you rather have had FF3 be something closer than that than the full 3D graphics we got? Do you like the 3D version of FF4 better?
No. I would rather it be 2D. The 3D guys look fat. They don't have noses. It makes it look like a goddamn cartoon. And it's already going to be tough enough getting through some of these other ones.
I
with the
think
comical characters and whatnot.
played a little bit of the FF4 3D version. I'm not too into the voice acting
Yeah.
on top of, a game that wasn't voice acted originally.
Well, Christian played the voice acting one on. He was a guy who was playing along with us early, but lost his way around. I think it was 6.
such a pansy now.
I know. No, well, he's got a kid now.
Oh.
But
You had him before.
yeah, but he's got another one, another very young one.
All right.
But his voice acting for FF4, he said it was really good.
No, the voice acting is good. It just feels weird for me because I played FF4 before.
But his was a 2D one. It wasn't the 3D.
With voice acting?
I think so. Yeah.
No.
Maybe it was the 3D.
That
then.
doesn't exist. It's the 3D version. It's
But-
the DS version that came out.
I don't know. What do you feel about it? How do you feel about it?
No, I'm not into the... that's another reason I don't want a 7 remix, because then it's going to be voice acted.
Yeah.
And so you have to deal with crappy voice acting. Not that the voice acting in that is necessarily crappy. It's just that, it kind of redoes completely the entirety of 4.
Yeah, it gives it a different feel, and I don't
Mhm.
like the art design. I
Yeah.
prefer the little sprites over the
And
fat, deformed kids.
When you have a 3D game, at least with Square, they seem to slow everything down.
yeah,
And the speed of the complete collection of Final Fantasy IV. Just the battle speed and the smoothness of it. I don't know. They've really worked hard on the complete edition, and it just feels it plays so well.
Yeah,
in that version.
It's better looking. Than
So
the
of
full
course
version.
I would like FF3 to be like the complete edition of Final Fantasy IV.
Okay.
Of course. I would take Final Fantasy VII to feel like the complete edition of Final Fantasy IV,
Yeah.
just by how smooth and beautiful it is.
Yeah, I did see you playing it, and I was like, damn it, I chose the wrong one.
Yep.
All right, so we got
You did.
another question here. This one's from Light Sage, who's an Ultima weapon. Oh, good job. If you guys were allowed to ask the people at Square Enix one question about Final Fantasy, what would you ask? Would you want to find out the answer to a plot hole, or clarify a design choice, or even just ask why they made a boss or minigame so difficult? That's a good point.
If we were to ask one question to Square Enix, wow. Schweiss? This is a rough one.
Why did you get rid of Sakaguchi, which in turn got rid of Uematsu? Maybe not correlated, but I feel like they probably are because they're working together on other games. Why? Why did you can the man who created this?
I would ask Sakaguchi why he stepped down as CEO.
He's not Square Enix, though.
That was at Square. He stepped down.
I know, but he's not with neither now.
I know.
So you would still.
If I were to ask him something, that's what I would
Okay.
ask him. Like, why did you step down?
All right.
Because I know their stock went down like after the release of 9 or something like that. So he stepped down. I don't think he should have done that.
No, probably not. But I would probably ask him either why they got rid of him or
Why the games take so goddamn long now?
yeah,
How come
what?
we can get an Assassin's Creed game every 2 months?
Well, they're
I know they're not as big,
well,
but
they are pretty big, but they follow
it
very
shouldn't
similar
take
patterns.
6 to 7 years to make a Final Fantasy.
Yeah, that's true.
They used to make them once a year,
That's true. They did, and they
and then once every
made
2
good
years,
ones.
and then
Now every 7 or 8.
then 12 kind of screwed everything up
Yeah.
in that way, which is too bad. I would wonder what's taking so long. Like, what kind of internal struggles are you having, and
Okay, that's
why
a solid
is your
question.
why is your company so secretive about all their internal affairs?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah. What would other people ask? What the fuck's up with Seymour's hair? Asked Kefka Palooza. Whose idea was that? Probably Nomura's.
Yep, I'm sure.
Yeah, anything just insane is from Nomura. Why do you feel that you have to make a series that appeals to casual gamers? Asks Batman. And Schnitzel Time asks, why did you spell it because Beacause? Which is a good question.
Yeah.
Probably for the translators, not necessarily for the full company.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
So this is a question from Kefka Palooza asking, you guys ever check out Square's official figurines? They're pretty awesome and got great detail. It's too bad they're so damn expensive. I've never once wanted a figurine. I think we've had a question similar to this.
Yeah, there were some Star Wars remakes that we looked at. There was some of those were pretty cool, like the Stormtrooper. It just looked like a mix between the freaking soldiers in 12 and the Stormtroopers. But I don't know. It was stuff like that. I don't think I'd buy it. Like
Yeah.
it's they're not cheap. So
I don't know. I'm not one to collect action figures. at
yeah,
all.
I prefer like media format, like games,
Yeah.
music, CDs. I
Mhm.
really like having CDs.
I agree with
So.
all that. I would take a poster though,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. If there were a really cool
or standee. I wanted that lightning standee they had back in 2009 at the GameStop,
Oh yeah.
but someone else had already claimed it.
Oh, should have fought him to the death.
I should have.
All right, so we have another one. Top 10 secondary characters. This is from Batman,
Oh.
A Night of the Round.
Such long list. Can you give us a top 3 if you're going to ask us a question?
He says, okay, I know I suck at ranking things, so I'm only going to ask for a list of 10 in any order.
Okay, all right. Any
What are your
order?
top 10 secondary characters in FF games? His is Kane, Locke, Auron, Noel, Edge, Sabin, Irvine, Celis, Barrett, and Sid from FF7.
So not the main character, any secondary character. Just a top 10?
Yeah.
A top 10 right now? I don't know. Let's just spitball some names, I guess. Balthier.
All right, I'd go. Here's my list right now.
You have a list.
Yeah,
You thought about this.
for a second, yes.
Okay.
I'd go Balthier,
Okay.
Bosch, because he's awesome. Oron, obviously. He's the most badass character
I'm sensing
ever.
a theme.
The badasses. Barrett.
There's your top 3 right there.
Barrett's a badass. I really liked
Apollo Creed.
I really liked Edgar in 6. I thought he was awesome.
Okay.
And man, no one from 13 really. I kind of like Saz, but he's dumb at the same time. Saz's Chocobo. Gilgamesh.
There was pictures about Chocobo Lena on the forum this week, and
Yeah?
she looks interesting.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh,
I gotta look at that.
you gotta look at that. She's from Final Fantasy 13 2 and 3.
Oh, I did see her. Yeah.
I didn't play far enough into the games to get to her, but wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
I would probably also choose Celis, even though that's kind of cheap because she's the second most important character in 6, I would say.
Sure,
and-
sure. How many is that?
Damn, that's 8.
That's 8.
Yeah. Who else? Joseph in 2.
Uh-huh.
And who would I do my favorite other character, secondary character?
Shantoto.
Maybe. No, Kupipi.
Kupipi?
She has brought me great joy with heels. I'll go Kupipi. Fuck it, why not?
Kupipi from 11.
Yeah. The NPC, Kupipi.
She's wonderful.
She is. She's very helpful.
You don't want Naji?
No.
Everybody on our team gives Naji so much crap.
He's so weak now.
He is.
Yami, though.
Wow. I'd say Art in a miniskirt.
Yeah. Art is pretty hot if you watch any of the Let's Plays.
Oh, man. So, wow, let me think about this for the entirety that you were thinking about this. I'd go Balthier. Not so much Bosch, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
You
think
don't like him as much?
I like Ash even more than Bosch, but she still wouldn't be in a top 10. I give Yuna, even though she's like the protagonist. She's like,
Yeah.
I guess she's a secondary character, so Yuna. I like Steiner, but I don't like him enough to be in my top 10.
What about Beatrix?
Ooh.
I should have had her in mind.
Yeah, Beatrix is going in there.
Okay.
That's good. Let's see. Final Fantasy VIII. Quistis, of course. I'd say, yes. Final Fantasy VIII. Then I have Tifa. And did I say Oron?
No.
Let's do Oron in there, of course. I like Edgar, but I think I like his brother Sabin a little bit more.
Really?
Yeah. And Locke. I'm going to go ahead and put Locke on there. Let's see. Final
Rydia.
Fantasy IV. Kane is cool. Rydia's. Edge is cool. Fusoya.
Oh, yeah. Fusoya.
I'd put Fusoya on that list.
He's a freak.
And,
Fusoya side up.
what? Oh.
The little egg thing.
The egg thing, yeah. Wow, such an interesting question.
Interesting as in pain in the ass.
Pain in the ass, because there's 10 things we got to think about. Man, off the top of my head, awesome secondary Shadow.
I was thinking Shadow too, but I was
Shadow,
like,
definitely Shadow.
All right.
Yeah,
That's a good question.
yeah, a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah, a lot of good answers. that we're not
Everybody
gonna
seems to
read.
have a whole bunch of their top 10 favorite side characters. Okay. So, let's look at another one from Void.
Another one.
Mm. Look at another question. This one from Void.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Got to be in context.
Okay. 2 questions. I know you guys haven't played all the Final Fantasy spin-off games yet, but out of the ones you have played, which is your current favorite and why? Which are you most looking forward to trying out for the first time? Schweiss, you played much more spin-offs than I have.
Yeah. Favorite would probably Tactics. Crisis Core was really good too, though. Which one am I most looking forward to playing completely through would be Tactics, because I never beat it. If that doesn't count because I played it, I don't know. There's not really that many of them. Like 13-2, I would say, because it's
That's a
supposed to
sequel,
be.
though.
Yeah, well, so is Crisis is pretty cool.
Yeah, Crisis is.
I'm counting anything that's not main series in this question.
All right.
I'd probably say 13-2 out of the ones that I haven't played a moment of, because it's supposed to be. Some people say it's better than 13. So,
out of the ones that I've played, I'd say 13-2, but I haven't played too many spin-offs very long.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't keep with those very long. I mean, we obviously are going to get to them.
yeah.
The one I'm most excited to play is Tactics, because everybody says it's awesome, and I haven't played a minute of it.
Oh wow, yeah. It's a great question, Void.
Yeah, good questions. All right.
This
Got
one
here from Shinru.
Oh, he looks like he's leveled up a little bit.
Yeah, he's on the new the new rank. Nobuo Uematsu works for me.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice.
I don't even think there's a rank above that.
Maybe not yet.
Not yet. I'll have to mess with that.
All right, so he says, looking at the vocal FF songs, you basically have Eyes on Me and Melodies of Life in English, and then My Hands from FF13. There are a few other songs, but those are probably the most famous ones that are in English. You recently mentioned how the Patreon goal was changed so Dave Mustaine will sing Melodies of Life, and I was wondering if there's a chance that he will be singing My Hands for FF13 or Sunlit Waterscape when the time comes.
Well,
We'd have to talk with Dave about that.
we would have to talk with Dave about covering My Hands. I don't know. Would Dave really add a color to My Hands that isn't already there?
I don't know. That's the thing we want to make sure.
Yeah.
It's either got to be, I don't know, we either want to honor him or make him destroy something that we despise. And by destroy, we really mean enhance in our eyes. So maybe, I don't know. It depends on what he's doing.
It's kind of like the worse the song is, the funnier it's going to be. Like,
yeah, although I do have one for 12 that it's not a bad, it's not even really, it's not a remake of a song necessarily. It's just me switching lyrics around from an existing song that Dave has.
Yeah, but it's not going to be Dave doing it.
Yeah,
Well, maybe. Are you going to get Dave to do it?
I think so.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, so it depends. I mean, we'll probably add more goals as we go along.
It depends, Shinru. Do you?
What are you fronting? No, yeah, I mean, it all depends on how well received the previous ones or the
The future
succeeding
ones are
would
going to be.
Yeah.
Certainly wouldn't be against it. The day that our show makes over $500 on Patreon per month would be a beautiful day. A day that we will reassess this question.
Yes.
I'm sure Dave's not against it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, he's willing to do Steki Dane.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So let's get another one here from Batman, it looks like. All right. You want me to read this? Okay. I have been going through a period of brief insanity and have thought about replaying FF12 to see if I really dislike it as much as I remember. While I was trying to talk myself into turning it on, I remembered one of the most unusual and downright ridiculous methods to obtain a reward in any FF game. Yes, I'm talking about obtaining the strongest weapon in the game, the Zodiac Spear. While most games make you jump through some hoops to get an ultimate weapon, Chocobo Races, anyone? You can get the ultimate weapon before then.
Yeah.
Actually, no. You still have to do chocobo races, but you don't have to.
You can get other
zero
ultimate
time.
weapons.
Yeah.
This is the ultimate weapon,
Yeah.
though, the Zodiac Spear.
But this was probably the one method that makes absolutely no sense. In order to obtain the Zodiac Spear, you have to not open 4 generic, unremarkable, and indistinguishable chests throughout the game. There are nothing about these chests that signify that they are different than any other chest in the game. A real kicker is that there is no way of knowing which chests not to open unless you are using a guide, and there is nothing in the game that informs you about the consequences of opening these chests. And when you finally skipped opening these 4 chests, why would anyone not open a freaking chest? You open another generic, unremarkable, and indistinguishable chest to obtain the Zodiac Spear. What do you guys think? Is this the most unusual method to get a reward in an FF game, or is there something I'm missing?
It's pretty unusual, but honestly, it's not really that big of a deal. I was able to kill everything in that game, and I didn't have the spear. I opened up everything. In the
So it's not
beginning.
that big of a deal to get the spear.
Yeah, you don't need it.
Yeah, but some people just want to get the ultimate weapon.
Well, don't open the
And
chest then.
it
and
is. I
suck it up.
I completely agree with Batman. They're the most. That's the most ridiculous way to get an ultimate.
Well,
weapon.
that's not even the most ridiculous part. The most ridiculous part is that one of the chests is in like the very beginning of the game. That under market area under the city,
Mm-hmm.
that's where one of them is. Like right outside one of the houses you have to go into.
And so it's just staring you in the face.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
right there. That's ridiculous. I think it is pretty dumb,
It's super dumb.
but it's
And
not.
the fact that the game doesn't mention it.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal to me though because I got better stuff. Well, not better stuff, but like stuff that's massively damaging enough. So it's really fucking stupid.
I don't think that's a way to make excuses for it. It's super stupid.
I don't think it is either, but I just don't care to get it
Yeah, I agree
because of
Batman.
how stupid it is.
I remember that being there was some kind of game trailers top 10 like BS moments in gaming or something like that, and that was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the fact they had or like top 10 game breaking stupid things. I can't remember what the list was, but that was one of them. And then another one was like in King's Quest. There's one opportunity for a rat to go across your screen, and you have to click on it. And if you don't click on it, you're stuck in a cell for the rest of the game. You can't do
wow.
it. Yeah, you can't beat the game. So that's even worse. But
No, the Zodiac Spear is pretty dumb though.
it's super super stupid. Oh man. Okay.
We'll talk about that when we get there.
We got one from Astromex here.
Says, "Hey guys, I don't think I've seen this one on the forums, so here it is. Would you, or have you, ever named a pet after someone/thing for Final Fantasy? Maybe even a child. My girlfriend and I have 2 dogs and 1 cat. The cat I named after the one and only Sin. Would you guys name a dog Cloud or maybe Ash? Maybe a cat or Fish? How about an aardvark? Just wondering. Anyways, I know I've said it before, but I love the podcast. Keep up the fantastic work, guys."
Thank you very much.
Astrum. I have not and probably would not.
Same camp.
I don't really, especially a kid. That would be weird.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they had a normal name, like Ash is kind of normal. That's not a bad name for a kid. I wouldn't, just because of the 12, though, I wouldn't name a kid Ash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not something that I would do. I don't love it to the point where I'm like, yes, we must all follow. I must name my child.
No, I don't
Claudio.
understand naming a living thing
After a non-living thing?
after a fictional universe you're a real big fan of.
Yeah.
I'm kind of super traditional in my belief on naming things. I think there should be some kind of history with the name,
Yeah.
familial, or maybe some great leader. Maybe you name someone George because you like George Washington or something like that. Or
Yeah.
I hate made up names more than anything on the entire planet.
Yeah.
And then names where like I used to work at a scout camp, so all these kids would come in, they're like 12 to 15 or whatever.
Right.
And you get to see all the kids that have absolutely insane names, either by they were made up, like Absty,
Absty?
ABCDE.
Are you kidding?
Not kidding.
That was one of your...
That wasn't one of mine. That was someone my sister knew.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So names like that.
Idiots.
Yeah.
There's no.
I've
hope.
heard of one called Ladasha, where it's LA dash and then A.
Oh,
Yeah.
can't do that.
Yeah. Seriously, what the fuck? I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah.
There's a girl at my work named Andea. Made up by a neighbor. And her mom just went with it. It's Andrea without an R.
Yeah. Yeah. it
Yeah.
is.
So my hatred for making up names just it's so high.
So high that you can't name it
I
after.
can't name it after something so non-corporal. that I wouldn't name a kid Cloud.
Yeah. Neither would I.
No.
Or Squall. Or
Then you have to explain it when you're like a kid and you're like, ugh.
yeah. That would be embarrassing.
My dad named me after a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not into that. And I'm not into the weird spellings either.
All right.
Then I'm gonna get called old again, but fuck you. I'm probably the youngest person here listening to this podcast even.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not so much made up names. It's just I don't really like the names enough to name somebody after them or an animal even. It's just I don't know.
Maybe a fish.
Yeah, I guess, but that doesn't really matter. You can call it whatever you want. The thing doesn't know.
No, I'm pretty against that. It freaks me out. Like someone naming their kid freaking, I don't know, Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that'd be
Come
weird.
on.
All right, so we have another question here.
There was a lady in Florida that named her child Metallica.
Really?
Yeah. As much as I respect her taste in music. Why the fuck would you name your child Metallica?
I don't know. He's probably gonna grow up to like oldies though.
Yeah, he's probably gonna like country music or something.
Oh God, yeah, probably.
You're like, oh gosh, my mom named me Metallica.
Yeah, that would be horrible.
Of course, it's from Florida, so.
Oh, he's probably gonna die some lawful way. Anyways, so anyway, we got another question here from Batman. It's titled SE3 predictions. Square Enix will be hosting their own live event at E3 this year. What are some of your predictions concerning any announcements that might be made in regards to FF? I personally think that FF15 will be given a release date, and there's a small chance that FF16 might be discussed. I think that the biggest piece of news is that they will officially unveil Kingdom Hearts 3. Any other predictions you guys might have? I think they're probably going to mention something about 15, even though they said they weren't. Maybe an HD remaster for 12 announcement, and then probably something about Kingdom Hearts 3.
There'll definitely be something about Kingdom Hearts 3, I think. I was hoping for the 15 stuff, but I guess they're saying no E3 15 thing,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate. I do hope very much for a release date for 15.
Okay.
They could be lying to us about not having anything.
They could, yeah.
They did tease about a big announcement, though, right?
They did, yeah.
So it's either going to be 12 HD, 7 HD, I guess, could be another big announcement.
That would be a huge announcement.
It'd be gigantic, yeah. And then, of course, there could be 16.
Or Kingdom Hearts 3 could be the huge announcement.
Oh, it's already been announced.
Yeah, but I mean like an actual release date. Just out of the blue.
Yeah,
like,
but
oh, yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is behind 15 in development.
It was. Of course, the same
it
guy.
just surpasses it.
The same guy who was taking Eternity
on Versus 13.
Yeah, is the
Taking
guy
his
now.
Sweet ass time.
Now doing Kingdom Hearts. So, God, Nomura, dude, you're gotta get it done.
Yeah. It would be interesting if they announced 16. It wouldn't be unheard of to announce the game before the new game comes out.
Yeah, and probably 17 while they're at it. Just fuck it. It'll be the online
just
one.
17 and 18. 18
Yeah.
online.
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
I wouldn't be surprised if 16 was announced.
Yeah,
Some kind of teaser where they actually haven't worked on the game except for like
10
the
seconds.
trailer.
Throw something together tomorrow.
Which
before
is
we
totally
head out.
what they did for Versus 13 when they first announced it.
Yeah.
They just had some cutscenes put together.
Yeah, no story at all. No nothing.
Yeah.
I can't believe
It would
that,
be
man.
interesting if 16 was out.
Yeah, I can't believe he took that long to do nothing. Not a damn thing. There is no story really that was made. There's no gameplay. There's no what would there was
They were
years,
just ideas and videos.
years that went by without anything solidifying.
FMVs, yeah.
God, man, it's a good thing
I think it was going to become vaporware. Like they were going to just get rid of it quietly. And then there was some big meeting where there was some decision where they were like, look, there's a lot of hype for this game. Let's make it 15.
Yeah, probably. And then they were like, "Hey, you have to move on because you're useless, and your movie sucks." So,
Oh, man. Ugh, it's too bad.
yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that they announced it. I'm really hoping for the 12 HD, but I don't know if that would be a big announcement. It kind of would be though. I mean, because 12 is only available on the PS2 as of right now. There's no port, no nothing.
Man, Batman, you got a lot of questions. Caleb!
Nah, he doesn't
Hold
have
on.
to come down.
I'll have him come down. Caleb, could you come down here? One second. Yeah, could you come down here? There's a question here from Amerline1. Caleb Craig? Question mark. For a while, he was active on the forums every day, and I would see him post under almost every new forum, but now he hardly posts as it is. Shinru surpassed you in posts, by the way, Schweiss. Or Caleb Craig. He was also on a few of your shows, but has not been on for a while. What happened to that?
Yeah, let us know. What
Nothing
happened?
to that.
Closer to the mic.
Nothing at all. Just haven't been as active.
Why's that?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Just doing other things.
Did you? Last episode you were on with us was Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah.
So, did you play 9?
I played most of it. Didn't beat it.
Okay.
Didn't play 10.
Okay. And
Didn't play 11.
okay.
Just haven't been on episodes. Usually they ask me to be on episodes.
Yeah.
So ask them.
It's because
Well,
he doesn't play the games.
As far as the forum thing, he got a girlfriend for a while, and so all of his time was spent on the new toy.
Yeah.
And now the new toy is gone, and
Now there's no excuse.
now there's no excuse. Yeah,
But he does still exist.
he does.
So, one day he'll play another game with us. He's actually playing Final Fantasy 12 right now, so he may be on the review for that unless he stops at the end. Or,
Again.
like a puzzle scene that he can't do.
Like Final Fantasy 9, just stopping.
Yeah. You were ahead of us, too. Well, for like a day.
He said he
hate
got
the-
stuck on the candles.
They were pretty bold, but not that bad.
He's still here. He still exists. I don't know why he's not on the forum, Amerline. He was helping grow our forum, so he was doing it as like a favor.
Yeah.
But now the forum's kind of by itself, you know.
Yeah.
He doesn't necessarily have to get on. But we'd certainly do appreciate it if he gets on.
Yeah.
He says he's been on.
Barely.
Yeah.
All right, so man. this-
All right. You said to clear all the questions today.
Yeah. All right, so we got one more from Astrum X here. It's titled "One More Question." Do you guys / gals think it's important for your significant other to enjoy games? If so, is it important that they enjoy RPGs or even Final Fantasy? My girlfriend is a total non-gamer. At first, I wasn't sure how this would affect my gaming time, but it hasn't hurt it at all. My opinion is this: so long as your partner respects your hobby time to dedicate to it, then no harm, no foul. What is your opinion, Astrum? My opinion on it is fairly similar to yours. They don't have to play games. The problem is you have to make time for them as well, or it doesn't work. So make sure you make time for them as well, or it doesn't work. They don't have to play games to understand that you need your own time, but it can't be all the time. What do you think, Joe?
Well, I think I would have given a different answer had I been 16.
Yeah, you'd have been like, oh, totally.
Oh yeah, they need to play video games.
Yeah.
The fact is, we're playing a lot of video games, and let's say I was dating someone, which I haven't dated anyone in a long time. if I was dating someone, I would probably have to schedule out my time so that, of course, would give them time, and that the game would never really go. A game should never, ever get in front of another human being, you know?
Yeah, well, and then if it gets to a point where it does, then you need to reassess the relationship
you
with
need to
that
really-
person.
Yeah, you need to reassess your relationship and your relationship with the video games at that point.
Yeah, well, not necessarily, because if they
I think
suck,
so.
if they suck so bad that you'd rather play the game than spend time with them, it's not necessarily that you're addicted; it's that you don't want to be around them. So it does depend. But if you get to that point, well, don't get to that point first of all, and if you do, you need to, I don't know, just kind of assess where you're at.
I think the relationship's being messed up. I think a relationship could be messed up by too much video game play.
They can, yeah, totally. I
Yeah.
see it. I saw some of that with myself.
I mean, there is video game addiction out there, and I'm sure many of our listeners are addicted in some way to playing video games, where they feel like they can't go out of town because they need to play their PlayStation.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. If it's like that from the get-go, then that's when you know it's a problem. If it turns into that later on, it's probably the relationship diminishing and you just being like, well screw
but
them,
part
I'm
of
going to do
that is
this.
that you have to work on it.
Yeah,
So whether or not you use your spare time to play video games,
shouldn't matter as
It
long as
shouldn't
the
matter.
thing's healthy. So
no, it doesn't matter to me if they play video games.
yeah, I don't care. And then part of me is kind of, it would be kind of nice if they didn't, just because then I would have that as my own thing, you know? Just be like, this is mine. You can't have it.
I don't know. And girls who play too much video games anyway, they don't seem to shower. There's something about it.
Yeah, that can
Not
be
all
true.
of them. I'm gonna offend some people out there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
By that statement. Video game girls. There's a very certain type of girl out there that plays video games. I've noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, none of them are interested in show anymore. I find it endearing.
But watch someone's eyes glaze over when you say you have a podcast, and they go, "Oh, what?" And then you go, "It's about Final Fantasy," and then watch them just sink. Disappointment.
Most people that I tell are like, "Oh, really? How's that?" Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
you just surround yourself with crappy people.
I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
crazy
100%,
people if
yeah.
you listen to the other show.
Yeah, if you listen to Getting Fat, there's someone insane at work.
You probably shouldn't let them know about the podcast. Like, hey, did you know Final Fantasy's a conspiracy? What? It's a story. No. It's a takeover from Japan.
Yeah.
Look at the financial data.
Illuminati.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me either. So, good question though.
No, yeah.
Some people it does.
Yeah,
Some
I don't know
people-
if video games are really that front and center in your life.
What's funny to me is Cody told me, he's like, dude, you should date a gamer chick. It's awesome. And then he broke up with her like a month later. I'm like, yeah, is it awesome, Cody? See how I'm still with the same person? And oh wait, you're not. Oh yeah. Although he chooses the bad ones anyway. So, but yeah, it's whatever.
I don't want you to take this personally, but I'm going to bring up your bad relationship recently. Is that all right?
Whatever.
You look scared. Your eyes are big.
I'm not the one who should be scared.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, what I would often see is you ignoring the other person by playing the video game. Now, I know the relationship was bad in other places, like you were saying.
Uh-huh.
But when the games become front and center for your relationship, or even your friends become front and center, I think that, that's when you need to reassess. And I saw that with you.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was necessarily the games, but maybe...
Well,
Would you have spent more time with her if she played video games?
probably inherently, yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is video games
Because I
aren't
know how
taking
much
over.
video games mean to you. So
Well, I don't know if it's how much. I just find them enjoyable. It's one thing that I will counter that with is I still hang out with you guys outside of playing games. I don't have to play video games. Now, some of us choose playing games and Skyping someone else while playing a game over playing a real game
Skyping someone who doesn't care about them and just
Yes.
uses them and
for whatever reason.
for whatever reason.
For whatever-
not to feel lonely.
Whatever
I guess.
resource he could possibly have. No, but yeah, that's the thing though, is that I don't give up everything for that. I would rather watch Game of Thrones and play 11. Every time we watch Game of Thrones after 11, I'm like, okay, let's stop playing this goddamn game and watch some Game of Thrones and hang out. So it does depend, and I think a lot of it diminishes prior
I think
to that.
you need to have a healthy relationship with your free time also.
Yeah, it's
Just in general.
yeah. The amount of 11 we've been playing is not good for us. It really isn't.
No,
like I am sapped of the will to be.
I'm sapped at the will of right.
And I want to play 11 right now. That's sick. It's sick. It's like it's like an abusive relationship. It beats me
this thing.
and beats me and beats me, and I bad talk it until it leaves, and then I'm like, come back. So yeah, it's not good. We're not okay.
Oh man. Jeez, Batman.
Yeah.
Jeez
Do
Louise.
you want me to read this one?
Yes.
Okay, you read the last long one. All right. There are some FF games with certain enemies that can wipe an unprepared party out instantly. These random encounters, every guy.
Named monsters.
Yeah, these random encounters usually happen at the worst time and can set your game back quite a bit. If you are one of those overconfident FF veterans, like myself, who don't feel the need to save unless there is an upcoming boss fight.
Oh wow.
For me, that random encounter has always been the Marlboro. And more specifically, the one from FF8. The Marlboro, which he wrote Marlboro, which is weird because I used to pronounce it that way too, but it is Marlboro. Marlboro is a cigarette. Make that distinction. From FF8 attacks immediately with bad breath, which inflicts your entire party with virtually every status ailment in the game. All you can do is watch your characters kill themselves in a blind, poisoned, berserk confusion. While these effects can be mitigated with certain abilities, it is difficult to prevent all of the ailments. I do not know about anyone else, but my butthole puckers every time the battle screen pops up and there is a Marlboro waiting to attack. Well, what are some of the random encounters you guys dread getting into?
Named monsters in Final Fantasy XI.
Yeah, because I when you're mindlessly grinding levels in there, you can accidentally hit one, and they look exactly the same. With 12, you can tell when it's a special monster. In 11, they are literally the same. There's no color difference. Their name is different.
Their
That's
name
it.
is different, yeah.
And they're sick. They're like 50 times stronger, and they're just as relentless. They'll chase you down until you're a pool of
You can't
blood
check
and
'em.
mush.
You can't check them either. And there's this function in Final Fantasy XI which you can check to see how difficult the monster will be to you.
Yeah,
If it says
impossible to gauge.
impossible to gauge,
It can be a pain, or it can be something you can kill. We've killed impossible to gauge. It's horseshit. It's possible when we can kill them.
it's possible to kill.
Yeah.
It's possible for our little little tool we have out, just like a
Yeah, so that's why you can't trust it unless you come back to one that's later on and you want to kill it just for the hell of it.
yeah. It's rough. Marlboros, are probably the most dreaded thing. I saw another person put Bahamut as one, or not Bahamut, Behemoth.
Oh yeah,
Every fucking time it's Behemoth and Bahamut for me. I cannot distinguish the two names for
Behemoth is pretty brutal. In 10, when you kill them, they cast meteor upon death.
Yeah, I think 10's Behemoth was probably the toughest.
They were
However,
rough in
in
7
other
too.
Behemoths,
And 8, do you remember the part in 8 where you go down the cavern? Good God, when I went to go get that the ultimate weapon, when I fought Ultima Weapon,
right?
those behemoths were disgusting.
Were they?
Yes. They cast meteor like it's going out of style.
Oh,
like,
they cast Meteor also?
Yeah.
Okay, because the older Final Fantasies, the Behemoth was just a really, really strong monster.
Yeah, they were.
With a lot of armor.
Yeah.
And so they were beatable though.
No, yeah,
They
you
could only
usually kill 'em.
they would only attack you back. Like they wouldn't attack you straight.
Yeah, there were a lot of counter attackers.
Yeah, I'm not sure which games were which as far as that goes, but for the most part, I always kind of like, ooh, it's a behemoth, it's a challenge, right?
Yeah.
And I felt that way about the behemoths in 13 also. I was like, yes. Like that was the thing I leveled up on, were the behemoths in 13.
Yeah.
Just like figuring out how to stagger the behemoth in 13 was awesome to me. But yeah, I get the behemoth thing. Marbles, I think we can all agree that marbles are like the most dreaded creature
They are,
in all
yeah.
of Final Fantasy. Maybe the Tonberries.
Yeah, I wouldn't put them up to the Marlboro, though. And then the
Ooh,
Cactar,
Cactars,
yeah, they can be
with 10,000 needles.
a nightmare, yeah. They can
The really bad
mess you up.
Cactars.
But I think the Marlboro is definitely the worst. I mean, when I was playing 7, I got to the Ice Cavern part, and the part with the two-headed dragon?
Mhm.
That part was kind of tough, so I was like, all right, I'll go level up for like 15 minutes or so. I go kill some stuff, gain a couple levels, and on my way back, I hit a Marlboro, and it just wipes me. like 15. No, it was more like half an hour, I think, of leveling. Just gone.
The thing is, I'm kind of OCD about saving because he was talking about, FF veterans not saving before anything but a boss fight.
I get OCD about it too.
Yeah, I've seen twice just have to restart way too many times to not save every time I pass a save point.
Yeah, there have been a few times. And then there was one time that it was the game freezing on me with 10, and I was like,
I think the only one you need to not worry about saving on is 13 because you can retry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry too much.
One last question. One truly last question here. This is from Happy R. Baus, who's a warrior on our forum.
Oh, nice. Getting up there?
I've been trying to work on completing every game in the series as well recently, and just started playing FF5. This game has a ton of job classes, not as much as tactics, but still plenty to keep you occupied. This got me thinking, we are so used to the classic FF job classes. What new ones could they add to bring a breath of fresh air to the series? He personally would like a Necromancer class. Abilities include dark spells, ability to summon demon allies, and get to wield scythes with a higher chance of inflicting status effects. And Baindrum said the iOS version does have a Necromancer in Final Fantasy V. And a few people talking about that. Is there some kind of class in another game that you would like added to Final Fantasy?
I don't know, maybe like an engineer. That'd be kind of cool, like someone that makes machines to attack for them with different status effects. Oh, do they have a machinist?
They cannot hear Caleb Craig.
Yeah, Caleb Craig just said they have a machinist in tactics. So I think it'd be cool to include that in more of the games, I guess. I feel like they do a pretty good job of encompassing what classes I would want to play as. Unless I had like a dragon mount or some awesome. I know they have dragon knights, but like Khaleesi mode, just riding the dragon in and killing shit. That would be great. But for the most part, I think they're pretty all-encompassing, honestly.
I think there's a reason why they keep using the same classes, because they're...
except for the crappy ones, they go away.
Well, Blue Mage can go to hell.
Oh,
I know a lot of people disagree with me on that.
Yeah, I like some of the abilities, but near the end, they fall off like crazy, so...
Yeah.
Same with Summoner.
Mm-hmm.
Always weak by the end.
Yep.
So yeah, I think they do a pretty good job with the classes, and not too many other things I could even think of.
Yep. All right, well, that's going to end it for our question segment. Do we have a question from us to them this week? For our first question from us to them. Did we think of one?
I don't think we did.
All right, if you want to leave us a question, make sure you call 385-204-3921. Make sure you support us on Patreon and all that other good stuff.
Yeah.
Now, Schweiss. I wonder who wants to play FF14 with us.
That's a good question. I feel like the numbers will be a little higher than the FF11 fans.
So, my question from me to you, from us to you,
okay.
Who wants to play 14 with us, and what server are you on?
Yeah, because
when we get to 14.
Yeah, I'm going to be restarting completely, so.
Probably. So, that's going to be it for this week. Does that say, what does that say?
It's right.
God. We need to make a better system for all this. Okay, there we go. That's going to be it for this week. I want to thank you for joining us for Ultimate Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast.
Enjoy the grind.
This has been another production of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. The show was produced by Joseph DeGolier and Caleb Schweiss, with music and editing by Joseph DeGolier, parodies and clips from their respective authors, of course. You can get all of our episodes as well as our Let's Plays at ultimafinalfantasy.com. You can also contact us on Twitter at UFF Podcast, as well as our contact page on our website. Be sure to subscribe and review our podcast. Your reviews may get read on the show, and look forward to the next episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast.